Pray for your life. Okay.
Oh,
All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Climate Wednesday #Waste Management. We've been having this series for the past 1 month, and we've been having to explore lots and lots of topics, of which our guests have been giving us lots and lots of insights into waste management, how we can harness the waste we see and turn them into raw materials that can help boost the economy, that can help create other sources of income. But today we're going to be exploring sustainable waste management in a circular economy. And here with me is Rita Elder. I've been following Rita Elder for a while, and I must say that this woman is power. And I'm glad that I'm the one anchoring this session. And I can't wait to hear a whole lot of things that she has to say, the insight she has to give to us, and what she also is doing in this space to help curb many environmental challenges, particularly as regards waste management. So, Rita Elder, you're welcome to today's Climate Wednesday session. I'm happy to see your face. You're glowing. You're looking so
yeah, thank you.
pretty.
So thank you so much, Abimbola. Thank you so
You're
much. The name is
welcome. You're
Rita
welcome.
Ide I.
Sorry.
It's
I'm
fine, it's
sorry.
fine, it's fine,
Okay,
it's
Rita
fine, it's
Ideha.
fine,
I
it's
will miss
fine.
next time. My apologies.
It's
Okay, so would like you to introduce yourself to us. So who is Rita Hida? Did I get that? Did I get it right?
Ide
Is it
High.
correct?
Ide
High.
High. Ide High.
Rita
Yeah.
High. Okay. So who is
Okay,
Rita?
so Rita is well, the founder of Ecobata. I'm a circular economy advocate. So at the core of what we do at Ecobata is actually the need to fashion out waste from our everyday consumption options. So at Ecobata, we have platforms, different platforms actually, but one, we have a platform that helps individuals and organizations make eco-friendly consumption options. So we have a platform where you can choose to buy, say, bamboo toothbrush as opposed to the plastic toothbrush. And then when you eventually generate waste, we are still there to collect and recycle your waste in a way that you are even helping local communities. So not to take so much of your time, but that's what Rita is and that's what I do.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so today we'll be exploring sustainable waste management, and we know that waste is a major challenge for us, well, the world at large. But then
Yeah.
in our side of the world is much more worse for us because it's creating a whole lot of environmental discomfort, a whole lot of environmental and
I can
um,
hear you. Okay.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so it's causing a whole lot of environmental challenges, and I would like to ask you, what does sustainable waste management entails?
Okay, so the thing is, sustainable waste management is basically, a model that allows you to manage your waste in such a way that you're still protecting the environment. And thankfully, because, academicians and all have helped us to define sustainable waste management in form of the waste hierarchy. So for you to say you're engaging in sustainable waste management, so the first pillar is that you are trying to even avoid or reduce your waste generation. Then you're reusing your waste, and then you're recycling your waste. So by the time you get to recycling your waste, you should literally have like maybe 30% of your waste left. And then at that stage, you're also, instead of trashing your waste like you typically do, you're trying to recover your waste as energy. So the thing with sustainable waste management is a system whereby at the end of the day, there's actually zero waste left for the environment to manage. So that way you're ensuring sustainability of the environment. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make a whole lot of sense. So you just said that it has to do with making sure that we have zero waste. So do you think that
Yes.
taking Nigeria for example, like as a case study, do you think that we can attain that?
So zero waste.
Okay.
Okay, so zero waste is a lifelong journey. There's never going to be a point where you say that, so here we are at zero waste, because every day people keep generating waste. So I think it is a goal that we can keep working towards. Do you understand? But I don't think we're ever going to get to that point where we say, so today zero waste is being generated or zero waste has been generated. I don't think so, because there are about 7 billion people on earth, about 200 million
Mm-hmm.
people in Nigeria, and every second of the day we are generating waste. Do you understand? So I don't think that we're ever going to get to that point where we're saying zero waste has been generated today, but we can keep working towards a life or a space whereby, in your own personal house or something, whatever waste that you are even generating is going back into another value chain as a raw material. So, and that's actually the foundation of circular economy. So I think that I do not think that we would ever get to that particular point in time where we're going to say, oh, zero waste, but we can keep working towards it.
Towards it. Okay, thank you very much for that insight. So my next question is, we know that using the major every plastic, every waste materials that we see is as a result of products that has been produced and used by people who either they do not properly dispose of them or they just litter them around by throwing them,
Yeah.
because you get cases where people go on the road and they use things, they just throw it, they don't put them in their cans and all of that. So I want to ask, what is the role of extended producer responsibility in a circular economy?
Okay, so we all know that Nigeria is a consuming nation, right? And even if
Yes,
we were a producing nation, every individual cannot be in charge of production. So there'll be, that's
true.
why there's usually this value chain or something. So there are the producers, there are the consumers, the distributors, and all. So what the extended producer responsibility basically tells us, or what it's about, is that people that are responsible for producing these materials even before they were waste, because for example your plastic bottle that you see on the street wasn't a waste when the person bought it, but some people were responsible for producing it. They were responsible for the profits, right? So those same people should also be responsible for the afterlife of the material that they are bringing into our ecosystem. So that's what extended producer responsibility is about. Holding producers, distributors, and people along those value chain that supply consumers, holding them responsible for the afterlife management of the materials that they sell to people. And yes, they are important in
Yes.
managing waste, because for us, for me and you as consumers, we literally do not know how the material we are picking off the shelf. We do not know about the life cycle. We do not know about, for example, the plastic bottles. A lot of people don't even know that plastic bottles are made from crude oil. So we do not know a lot of
Yeah.
those nitty gritty of production, but those people know about production. So
Yes.
if we are even going to go zero waste or do circular economy, it has to start from the producers, because they are the ones in charge of designing the materials, right? So they are best positioned to actually start the circular economy process for us. So that's how I think that they are responsible and how they can be involved. I hope I've not lost you, Abimbola.
Okay, so just to dive a little bit deeper into this question or the answer that you've just given to us. So now I want to understand it. Each and every one of us obviously have our own responsibility towards helping to curb waste management, improper waste management rather. Because when they produce, we use, and it's left for us to dispose of it. So now, with everything that you just said, do you think that we all have equal responsibility towards curbing waste management, or it has to do with us having or end users? Hello, can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you, Rita. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Uh, can you hear me?
Yes, clearly.
Can
I
you
can
hear
hear
me
you
now?
clearly. Yes.
Hi, Rita.
Yes, I
Can
can
you hear
I
me?
can hear you. I can hear you clearly.
Hello, hello,
I
Rita.
can
Can you
hear
hear me? Because
you.
I
I
can
can
still hear
hear
you.
you.
I don't know if you
I
can
can
hear
hear
me.
you.
Hello, Rita. Hello,
I can hear you.
can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, okay. So I think she has a little bit of issues with her network. So before she comes back on, we are still live at the Climate Wednesday series hashtag waste management, and we are here with Rita, and she's giving us a bit of herself. So Rita, are you back? Can you hear me?
Yes, I
I
can
hope you
hear
can hear me
you. Can you
now.
hear me? I can hear
Can you hear
you.
me clearly?
Yes, yes, yes.
Hello. Well, the weather is so bad. It's getting in the way of our connection. Hello, Rita, can you hear me? Hello, Rita. Can you hear me? Hi, Rita. Can you hear me? Ah, fine. Finally. Yes, I can hear you, but I think your network is breaking a bit. Okay, thank God. Because I was like, hey, where do I start from? Okay, no problem. Okay, so we sincerely apologize for the network glitch. The weather is quite bad here, and so we'll be having a little bit of break in between. Okay, so well, sorry for the break in transmission, and the network is quite bad here. I guess that's why she's having a little bit of problems with her network. But then I'll just give a little brief of what we've done so far or what we discussed so far. Thanks to Rita for the insight. So we are live at the Climate Wednesday live series hashtag waste management, and today's topic is sustainable waste management in a circular economy. And our guest for today is Rita. Rita is the founder of Ecobata, where we produce eco-friendly products, and you can get to buy them. So you can visit them, Ecobata, and they're all on all social media platforms. So we've talked about what does sustainable waste management entail, and we've also talked about the roles of extended producer responsibility in ensuring a circular economy. So, Rita, are you back?
Yes, I'm back.
Ah, thank God. Sorry about that. So, I was trying to say that we're trying to explore who has the higher responsibility. Is it the producer or the end users, or we all have equal responsibility based on the question that I asked earlier that you've explained. So I
Yeah.
just wanted us to go dive. I wanted us to have a deeper insight into it. So do you think, or
So, for
you
some
go with
reason,
us having the equal responsibility or the producer having more responsibility? Whichever answer you choose, can you explain further?
okay, so for some reason, I get a lot of this question. Who has more responsibility? Can you hear me?
I just hope she heard me.
I can hear
Ah,
you.
Rita, did you hear me?
Yes, I did. Did you? Are you? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello? Okay, did you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Or can you
Yes.
hear me?
Can you hear me?
Hello, Rita, can you
Can
hear
you hear
me?
me? Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay,
I can hear you.
so did you hear all that I've said so far?
Yes, I did.
Yes. Yes, I can hear you now. I can hear you too.
Okay. All right, great
Yes,
then.
yes, I can hear you. I can hear you clearly
Yeah.
now.
So I think that we all have equal
Yes,
responsibility.
I
We
can
all
hear
have,
you, Rita. Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. Yes,
I
I
think
can
that
hear
we all
you
have,
too.
I think that we all have equal responsibilities, right? Because
I can hear you as
equal
well. Uh, okay, so
equal but different responsibilities. So as consumers, or let me even start from producers, because I feel that producers have like the first responsibility. Like I said, circular economy starts from the design stage. So if, for example, you're making plastic bottles, I would keep referring to plastic bottles because they're notorious and everybody know about them. So if you're making plastic bottles, for example, a producer has the responsibility to make
Okay.
it in such a way that it is at least recyclable, like 100% recyclable if it is not biodegradable, right? And then that's their responsibility, and that's the design stage. So they're responsible for that. Then, as consumers, we're responsible for making
Okay.
sure that
Yeah.
at the end of initial life, we are able to sort our waste and get them
Okay.
to facilities where they would be recycled. So that is our own responsibility. And another responsibility for consumers again is actually to make the right consumption decision. Because we get that for producers, not everybody is going to be environmentally conscious. So for people that are eco-conscious, consumers have to be able to have the responsibility of patronizing those ones that are even more eco-conscious. So I think that's the difference in our responsibility. Then for government, because they also have a responsibility. Their responsibility for me is implementing policies that make sure that ensure that producers, take the responsibility of designing properly, and that consumers take on the
Mhm.
responsibility of proper waste management. So that's how I think the responsibility of ensuring a sustainable waste management system should be distributed. I hope you heard me.
Mhm. Yes. Play. Yes. Distributed. Okay. Thank you very much for that very insightful answer. Yes, I heard everything that you said, from the government to the end users to the producers. We all have equal responsibility, but different roles to play in that. Okay, so I would like to ask, is circular economy sustainable? And if it is, what is the difference between, or what is the relationship between circular economy and attaining sustainable development?
Yes, so circular economy is
If you heard
sustainable, and
me.
but I hear you. I think there's a 2 minute time lag. So when I'm done talking, it takes you 2 minutes to like hear me, but that's fine. So yes, again, circular economy is sustainable, and how it's sustainable is because it makes it possible for us to maximize resources. So the earth is limited in its resources, for example, because we operate a closed system, right? So with circular economy, it means that you can use more trees, for example, because in a circular economy, you don't exactly fall trees all the time for paper, for example. So you give trees enough time to regenerate. The same thing for crude oil, the same thing for metals. So in a circular economy, you are able to maximize the limited resources that we have. And how is circular economy, able to drive sustainable development? I tweeted something earlier today about me being passionate about circular economy, mostly because of the economic and employment potential it has for low income communities, such as Nigeria. So, for poor people, for example, that will probably not even have access to crude oil, right? But when they have plastic waste, they can recycle it into fuel or into energy, right? They can you
Okay.
can build in a circular economy. It is easy for you to build your manufacturing industry, or just build industries around waste, which is not
Mm-hmm.
possible for poor communities because you do not have access to raw materials from the scratch. So
Mm-hmm.
circular economy also, so for example, in even in a sustainable waste management, you generate 6 times more jobs when you recycle, which is circular economy, than when you just trash, which is a linear economy. So that's another employment potential there. In a circular economy, for example, so your organic waste can go into compost, which can then go into fertilizing, household farming or subsistence farming. So all of these things, it just has a lot of potential, especially for low income communities, because it is understandable when people in say high income communities are pro fast consumption. So they want packaged goods, they want this because they can afford it. But in low income communities, one, you cannot afford products that as packaged as that because they are more, the more the packaging, the more the cost, right? So you can't afford something as much
Yes.
as that. Yes. So what it can do for you is that it literally just gives you more. So you have more resources available to do more things. So that's how I think the circular economy is able to, drive sustainable development, economic opportunities, employment opportunities. And again, it just helps with the environment.
Development.
So because we know the poor people are even at disproportionate risk of climate change and environmental degradation. So when you promote circular economy or when we mainstream circular economy in a place like Nigeria, that means that you know the environment is better for it. So that means that poor people are better for it. And even on the government side, for example, they're able to save costs on a lot of things. And which means that there is more money, more resources that would go into development of the people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Into it. People. Mm. Thank you very much for that. So, looking at, let's take a look at, because you've mentioned some pressing issues. For instance, like people who low income communities, and many of them, we know that many of these communities have, well, they have the population, and aside the fact that they have the population, due to lots of other factors, aside having indigents there and having migrants and the likes in such communities, we know that they are populated and they use a whole lot of things that they cannot help to, let's say, recycle or properly manage such waste. So, taking into account market women, for instance, how do you think that they can benefit as well as drive a circular economy, the sustainability of circular economy? Because you know that market women, if whether we like it or not, they are like another powerhouse at that level, at that local level. So they basically hold, like, market women are those who hold, I used to call them, aside me calling them powerhouses, they actually have a strong hold or at their community level. So what do you think that, or how do you think their role can play a huge impact in um, Okay. I think that she has to. Okay, so what I've been said so far is the government has its role to play in ensuring that policies are formulated to help drive the circular economy. Two, the end users, they have their own role to play in making sure that. Okay, thank God, we are back. So welcome back,
Sorry.
Rita.
Thank
And
you.
yes, it's welcome. So I hope you heard the question. I hope you heard what I said last. The last
No, I
question that
didn't. The
I.
last. No, no,
Okay,
no, 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 I
okay,
didn't. I didn't
okay,
hear you.
okay. So I'll just go over it again. So I asked that market women play a significant role. So how do we make sure that they help drive the sustainability in attaining a circular economy?
So I think for that, it's about educating them enough because just like market women, a lot of people within our ecosystem do not understand the importance of sustainable waste management and the circular economy. So most people see it as extra work without, seeing the benefits, the long-term benefits. So for market women, I think it's important that we sensitize them enough and we are able to show them like the end goal that okay, so if if you do this, if for example you are able to sort your waste, this is what to expect. Like this is how it would improve the economy and how it will come back to you. This is how it's going to improve local employment and how people that are typically cut out around you that harass you will probably have jobs and will get busy. So I think it's important for us to just spend some time and resources on educating people in the market to also be players in driving sustainable waste management and circular economy.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, thank you very much. So, the role of education and awareness play a crucial role in making sure that market women and people are able to learn about how to harness these opportunities that come with having a circular economy. So I would like to ask, we've spoken about the private, I mean, sorry, we've spoken about the government in drafting policies that can help push this forward. We've spoken about end users, their role to play, and we've spoken about how producers as well can help to ensure that they use material that can be recycled. So now, what is
Yeah.
the role of individuals and non-profit organization in championing the circular economy cause?
So I'm going to start with non-profit organizations. They mostly make up the civil society, and they're like I think the fourth arm of the government, thereabout. So I think their role is one to always checkmate or to always make sure that the policies that the governments are coming up with and the legislators are coming up with are the ones that actually drive sustainable development and are for the people. So, because NGOs, for example, or NGOs are supposed to be very close to the grassroots and understand the pain points of individuals and people in the market, like we just discussed. So it's important for them to also have the tools, the resources to then do the old sensitization part that we spoke about. So I'm saying this because we know the NGOs have better relationship with the people than say government, for example. So it is easier for NGOs to pass across information or education about the need for sustainable waste management to the people. So for NGOs, again, I think their role is to do the educating and the sensitizing of individuals, and also to make sure that governments are driving policies that drive sustainable are drafting policies that drive sustainable waste management. For individuals, again, yes, NGOs have responsibility to educate individuals. Yes, the government have responsibilities to draft policies that would drive sustainable development. Yes, producers have responsibility to design products that are eco-friendly. But I think that individuals also have the responsibility to choose to be eco-friendly. They have the responsibility to choose to do things that promote sustainable waste management and environmental sustainability. So for individuals, it's important that we get ourselves educated, because there are information out there from just a regular Google search to taking on classes or even social media. So individuals should be able to get themselves educated and take conscious actions. I hope you heard me. Hi, Abimbola. Oh, nice to have you back.
Yes, I don't. The network just suddenly went off. Okay, so please, can you just help give a recap? Because I didn't hear anything you said. Sorry.
Okay. So I said that for NGOs, their roles or the responsibility is to get people educated. We mentioned that people in the market, for example, need to get sensitized, need to be sensitized and educated on the importance of sustainable waste management. So I feel that NGOs are better positioned to do this job of educating and sensitizing the general public, one. And then another role for the NGO is to make sure they are supposed to checkmate and make sure that the government are drafting policies for the people and for sustainable waste management and for environmental sustainability. So it is also part of their responsibilities. Then, as individuals, it is our responsibility to make conscious decisions. It is our responsibility to go out there and find information that would enable us, live in a very sustainable manner, in a way that we are not endangering, the future of, generations to come.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Public sustainability. Mm. Hmm. Okay, so now talking about Ecobata, how is your organization helping in this fight towards the circular economy?
Okay, so I think the first thing and one of the most important things that we do is
Hi, Rita.
sensitization. Can you? Yeah, I can hear you. There's a time lag, so 2 minutes time lag.
Hello, Rita. Hello, Rita. Hello, Rita.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes. Okay, you're back.
I don't know, it keeps going out. Okay,
You
so I
know,
said that
I can hear you
how
like
is your
100%.
organization helping to fight this waste management percent? Okay, because at my own end, like it keeps breaking, then all of a sudden your face just goes blank. So I guess it's the next time, I guess. Okay, so how is your organization helping to attain circular economy and help curb waste mismanagement?
Okay, and I was saying that the most important thing that we do is the sensitization part. So we run a number of campaigns online and offline to sensitize just random or everyday people in their homes. So that's the first thing. The second thing that we do is that we provide waste recycling, waste collection and recycling services for households and organizations here in Abuja, Nigeria. So we run mostly drop-off programs, but now we do curbside collection, especially
Okay.
for organized housing estates, right? Then the third thing that we do, and which I think is the most fascinating, is that we work with people in really local communities to transform some of these waste materials into new products. And by so doing, right, it more or less just sends a message of the importance of waste. So they don't see waste as waste again. And then they even begin on their own accord to ask you questions about other waste that you probably don't even collect. So, you know, for example, we make new products. We make purses and shoes and bags from plastic bags. So when we go to a community and we show them how to do this, the next thing is they are bringing in new waste material. They can bring in metals tomorrow and ask you, what can you do with this? They can bring in paper and ask you, what can you do with this? So it's a way to
Do
build
it.
interest. And yeah, so that's this. And then the last thing that we do now is that we have an online store where people can just shop eco-friendly options. Yeah, I think I mentioned it at my opening remark. So some of these products that we make from our upcycling scheme are sold
Yes.
online, and then some other products,
Yes, you did.
some other eco-friendly products like bamboo toothbrushes, bamboo straws, bamboo cutleries. You know, easy
Mm-hmm.
alternative to plastics or to single-use plastic. Yeah, so we have them, and we are able to, you know, help people make a responsible consumption decision.
Thank you very much. And well, should I say thank you? Thank you, Ecobata, because
Thank
you're
you.
doing so. Ecobata is actually helping to fight many of these challenges, and I'm glad that I'm the one anchoring this session, like I said earlier, and I'll keep saying to the end of this session. So I'd like to ask
Thank you.
my second to the last question is, okay, now we want to transit to a sustainable waste management system. How do you think that we can, what is the social willingness to towards transiting from a linear economy to a sustainable, more sustainable waste management system at local level? Because you deal with local communities, and you've been working with them for quite some time now to help create a sort of a mini waste management system that is beneficial to them. So,
So I think that when you say social willingness, right now for waste itself, it's not so much. So a lot of people, again, like I think I've mentioned this a couple of times here, they do not understand the importance of sustainable waste management, or they do not even see the value, the life in waste, right? So for us to be able to, have a just transition, or just move to sustainable waste management, you have to be able to show communities how it is important to them amidst all of the other issues that is going on in Nigeria. Why they should prioritize sustainable waste management, why they should care about the plastic, the paper that they are trashing. You have to be able to show them that for example, number one, it doesn't, when they trash it, it doesn't go away. It stays within the environment, and they are still at a disproportionate risk of being affected by it. One. Two is that instead of trashing it, they could easily generate wealth, generate income, and generate employment for local communities. So it's important that you show them these things. And then I'm not going to fail to mention that it is important that they also have infrastructures that encourage sustainable waste management. So for communities, for example, that do not have any form of bins or waste collectors that go to them, how else do they manage waste outside of just burning it? So we can't deny the fact that in fact, infrastructures are also very important in local communities in driving sustainable waste management in local communities. So again, infrastructure is important, and that means investment in sustainable waste management infrastructures, and then also being able to show them the importance of sustainable waste management. So I feel that with these two things in place, um, we can build up on the social willingness to engage sustainable waste management. Abimbola. Hello, Abimbola. I can't hear you. I can't see you.
hello, Rita. I can hear you. Can you hear
Hi.
me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
So did you hear everything I said about Did you hear everything I said about how we have to build, what we have to do to build social willingness in local communities?
So hello. Okay.
Hi.
I sincerely apologize for that. Sorry for that. Okay.
It's good.
I heard what you said, but then it just suddenly logged me out. So I sincerely
Oh.
apologize to our viewers for the Bacadabra. I think this afternoon. We sincerely apologize. Um, so we are on our second to the last question. Can you please just give us a recap on that? Then we move to the last
Okay, so
question.
all right, the question was about how we can build social willingness in local
Mm-hmm.
communities and help make sure that people are transitioning from the current indiscriminate waste management systems to sustainable
Yeah.
waste management. And I was saying that the two most important things that I think we need to have in place is investment in infrastructure. So
Mm-hmm.
even when we sensitize people on the need for sustainable waste management, if, for example, they do not have access to waste collection services or they do not have access to recycling collectors, then they literally
Mm-hmm.
have nothing to do than to burn their waste, right? So it's important for us to have infrastructures in place. And then the second thing is that we need to be able to show people that, okay, so this is what happens to your waste. Like we need to be able to tell people that even when you trash your waste, it doesn't exactly go away, it still comes back. And because you're in local communities and because you're probably even poorer, so you're at a disproportionate risk of the effect of environmental degradation when it happens, right? And then we can also show them the importance and the life
True.
that is actually in what they call waste. So I think if we have these things in place,
Mm-hmm.
then we can begin to build up on social willingness to transition to sustainable waste management systems.
Thank you very much. I don't know what to say. I'm learning a lot, and I hope that our viewers too are learning a whole lot. We sincerely apologize for the break in transmission. The weather here is pretty bad, and we are still live at hashtag waste management, the live series of hashtag Climate Wednesday, and today's topic is um, sustainable waste management in the circular economy. We have Rita here with us. So for our last question, what can be done to ensure that organizations in Nigeria incorporate the circular economy model in their operation?
So first, I think we need to start from policies. So do we have policies in
Okay.
place for that? And then when we have policies in place, we know that I think Nigeria is not even a lack of policies but implementation. So is there a proper implementation framework? Is there incentives for organizations? Because first, right, organizations or companies are designed to make profit, right? So are there incentives for them
Mm-hmm.
to also include environmental sustainability in the bottom line or in the metrics that they measure, right? So I think when we have these things in place, we can begin to encourage organizations to adopt circular economy, adopt sustainable waste management in their processes. So there has to be some form of economic incentive, in whatever way that the government can come up with. But it's important for companies because companies respond to that more, right? And the second
Mm-hmm.
way for us to ensure the companies begin to engage is that we consumers need to begin to demand for them to engage. Because again,
Mm-hmm.
customers are sometimes king for organizations. So when your customers begin to ask for certain things, companies are mandated to answer. right? So if there are two companies, for example, I do not want to mention specific brand names, but if there's a company A, for me personally, right now, if there's a company A that I know that they are so involved in supporting environmental sustainability, and then there's a company B that I know that they do not give any, they do not give any thought to it, or I do not see
to
their
it.
work. When I want to make a shopping decision, I buy from the company that I know that is conscious about environmental sustainability. So I think that more consumers need to be able to, or need to start getting into this mode where they demand for environmental sustainability and they reward companies that engage in environmental sustainability and circular economy.
Thank you very much for that. Network will not afford us the opportunity to explore this topic the way I'd want us to. And but then we've learned a lot, and I have my book full. Okay, so I would like to
Thank
ask
you.
you, what would you like to say, or what would be your parting words for every single one of us in terms of government, in terms of corporate bodies, in terms of non-governmental organizations and the like? What would be your parting words for them to look towards attaining or fully actualizing the circular economy? Because we know that there are pools and pools of opportunities that are in the waste management sector. How do we optimize it, and what would be your parting words for us all?
Yeah, so I think for me, I always part with just reiterating again that we all that we have is what the environment is able to give to us. So from our food to the air that we breathe to even the materials that we use, there are things that are gotten from the environment. And fortunately, unfortunately, the environment has a limited resources. So we all need to. It's time because we're already seeing scarcity of materials. There is depletion of even trees and water resources. So it's time for us to embrace and mainstream circular economy, for us to be able to manage the limited resources that we have and leave a world as beautiful or even more beautiful than we have it for generations to come. Because it's going to be really selfish of us to have met a really, blissful world and then be living it in a very disastrous state for generations to come. So this is the generation that has to take action. This is the generation that has to mainstream circular economy and do away with linear consumption and fast consumption. So it's important that all hands should be on deck to mainstream circular economy, and we have to make sure no one is left behind, not even people in the most rural communities.
Thank you very much, Rita. It has been a wonderful
Thank
session with
you.
you. Aside the
Thank you for
bad
having
network,
me.
thank you for gracing. Thank you for
Thank
gracing
you
our
for having me.
platform, and we hope to more and more. We hope to see more and more and more and more and more of you. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. So thank you everyone for tuning live to our session. Again, we sincerely apologize for the network glitch. We hope that next time it will be as good as it used to be, or even better. Thank you, and have a wonderful day, Rita. Bye.